Okay. Yes. So, of course, season 5 is not going to be live per se, but we definitely got some preparation on the motherfucking way. As you can see, Kai Storm is in the building. Motherhood Sex Marijuana is in the building. Shoot, Fuego Magazine is in the building. Shop.spreadshirt.com/MSM gear is in the building. Everybody is in the building. And season 5 will bring new conversations, new topics to talk about, new subscribers, new money in this bitch. That's all we interested in 2023. Increase in direct deposits. G, stop playing. Stop playing. Motherhoodsexmarijuana.com. We in the building, season 5. Show up and show out. And if you want to get down with us, hit us up. All right? Later, people. We in the building, season 5. Let's get it. Where is the weed? Let me make sure I have all my additions, because Lord, hey, what's
Hello.
good?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. What's been going on?
Shoot, so much and so little at the same time. but no, Ruby should be in a few, as you
Okay.
as you already know. I don't know if you do know, but she just had a baby on
Yes,
January 1st,
yes.
so the baby is the boss. I literally just realized that the baby's the boss of me too, because apparently me and her can't do nothing unless the baby allows us.
Right.
So anyhow,
That's how it is. That's how it is. Kids call the shots.
basically they damn sure do. But she'll be here soon, so we're just gonna go ahead and kick this off. Motherhood Sex Marijuana is in the motherfucking building, and
Yes.
today we got a revisit, and not and on top of that, I expect, based on the email that you sent us when we reached out to you around to get this interview set up,
Right, right.
I'm thinking you have a lot of information to drop on us, with how New York City is going, how New York City
Right.
treating cannabis, and especially how it affects you and your business. But
Yeah.
just for the people that don't know who you are, I'm
Mhm.
gonna go ahead and give you the time to
There we go.
introduce yourself, introduce your business, and just give us a little intro of what's going on with you.
Sure, no problem. Well, I'm Lamont Sanders, and here's the first big drop. Former CEO of Trap City Green, but
Ooh.
let me explain why. So we decided to dissolve, and I'm going to come back restructured only because of the delay that New York took to roll out licenses. Yeah. So, and that's something else that I'm going to talk about when it comes to other businesses involved in the industry right now.
Exactly. I definitely wanted you to speak on that
Oh,
because,
yes.
I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
because let's be honest. First of all, I'm gonna just go ahead and tell and be real honest.
Oh, yes.
Based on our last conversation, I'm still working with my plug. No, I'm
Right.
still rocking with my plug. My plug takes care of me. He got the right prices. He makes sure I get a gift every time. Oh,
Mhm.
nah, I can't leave somebody that treat me good. No, no, no. So I'm gonna keep whipping my plug, and my plug
Of
be
course,
having genuine
loyalty,
shit.
loyalty,
What?
loyalty all the way.
Loyalty all the way. However, You
Yeah.
know, as you know, and as mostly anybody that's been following our channel, you know, there's been, at least from what I know, at least 2 or 3 official cannabis dispensaries that have opened in New York City. As a matter of fact, one of them is Black owned, from what I read. And you know, so what's going on with that? Like, how, you know, what's going on basically is what I'm trying to ask.
So if you remember, the state had the plan to release its card licenses, which are conditional adult use recreational dispensary licenses, by the end of last year.
Right.
And a big part of that was because of what was written in the law and how the law was structured when Cuomo was in office. He structured that so that there was a specific report that needed to be completed in order to, you know, show the proof that social equity program is working and it was going to continue to work.
Right.
But as we saw, as the rollout began to happen more and more, we started seeing more and more delays, more and more roadblocks. You know, they set up the $200 million investment fund for the small businesses and had given a lot of people the impression that there was going to be far more opportunity.
Right.
But then that got reduced based off of how they structured it. That got reduced based off of the criteria that they set. And obviously, you know, I understand the criteria that they set and why they set that criteria. But if you remember when we were speaking, I said it's going to be like finding a needle in a haystack.
Word.
And now we've got only 3, and one of them, hey Ruby, welcome.
Hey Ruby, how you doing? Yes, the baby finally released you, huh?
I love you guys. Yes, it's a lot of all of that.
Wonderful. Look at you being so all beautiful.
Lamont, oh my goodness, motherhood, sex, marijuana in the building with Lamont, the amazing entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
King, a leader, and great thought. I would say that you're such an inspiration, just not only to myself, but I can tell that you've touched a lot of lives. And so I'm so grateful that we have this opportunity to follow up with you, because I also want to get up in your business. It's not all going to be about
Ruby has been dying to get up in your business.
Yeah,
before we get to that, we're gonna talk the cannabis business first before we talk bedroom business. We got priorities in here. We got priorities. We're gonna get to the bedroom, but we got to get to the business now. First of all, Ruby, in the first couple of minutes, he already dropped some tea that was very, very, very spicy, because he said, he first of all, that he is the former CEO of Trap City Green, because they are going to restructure and come back, and then I started talking about, you know, what's going on in New York City and cannabis now. So that's what he was explaining, you know, why, you know, the rollout of licenses has been a deterrent to his business. And I'm gonna let you go ahead instead of, you know, telling all your business that way. I'm gonna, you know.
So just to follow up, so you guys have a little bit better understanding. Like I had it told earlier. So we decided to dissolve, and myself and another partner, we're going to restructure. And what we're going to do is we're going to come with a smoke shop. And we're going to start with a smoke shop and then basically wait for our number in line for licenses. Because waiting specifically, and this is what we were just discussing, waiting specifically for a license in a criteria pool that has been made so tight, like so tight. The state reported that they had over 900 applications, but said they're only going to give, or rather award 150. How do you understand, how do you put that all into line and determine who's going to be first, who's going to be second?
Right.
So with one of them that's open now, as we know, it's with Housing Works. You know, they do great work, but they were the first license to be awarded. Meanwhile, you've got 1,400 unlicensed locations in New York City already.
And growing. Please believe they are growing.
That's right. And bear in mind,
smoke shops, the CBD, the CBD, the we only sell vapes and oils, but if you come in, we might sell you an 8 for $55. I'm just saying.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. And bear in mind that that's only 1,400 that they've counted in New York City. That doesn't include the lower Hudson Valley, parts around Albany, Mid-State, Buffalo, Rochester. This New York State is huge. So with just 1,400 unlicensed in New York City, you have to ask yourself, a lot of these places are going to end up being denied when they go for their licenses because they're already on a list.
Right.
Okay. Which then pushes out a lot of people who would be eligible for a social equity license.
Right.
Once you push out majority of the pool, now you've construed the statistics of being able to balance with general licenses versus social equity licenses, because there's only an infinite number, because once we stopped having people convicted of marijuana in New York City and New York State, there's, you know, once you hit that last number, that last person, that last arrest and conviction, there's nobody else to pull from the pool. And then you also have to assume not everybody in that pool wants to get into the industry.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
wow,
all of these, yeah, so you've got all of these numbers now and all of these different positions that are getting mixed up into this one thing that was supposed to be simplistic.
And first of all, when you look at it from the beginning, because the rules, like the first general rules that they set out for these licenses were already, you know, separate, you know, are already putting an edge on people, because the fact is, first of all, if you're asking, you know, someone that was arrested for selling marijuana, if they ever had a actual for real business, if they actually pay taxes, if they, you know, if they have a business plan, like they're gonna look at you like, nah, I was just selling some smoke. Like, what the fuck you talking about? I was just selling for some smoke to pay my bills, to, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
so that
right,
alone,
right.
And then on top of the fact that they decided to, you know, to make it stricter, like you said, you got 150 licenses, but you got thousands of people applying. How the fuck does that match up? The math ain't mathing. And then on top of the fact, because I don't know if you saw, because I actually did like just a little video of because I wanted to see what Housing Works was like. I wanted to go in and, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't gonna buy nothing, but I wanted to at least just check it out and see what it's like. And B, just the line outside, like there was a line outside like that, and in the video you see me go up to the line and say, fuck nah, I'm not standing on the line to buy weed. I said, fuck nah, I ain't standing on this line to buy no motherfucking weed.
Now think about how many other people who have that exact same position.
Okay.
And you've got 1,400 unlicensed locations out there who are basically regular plugs already to people.
Regular fucking plugs.
So my personal opinion and projection is that this is going to get very murky, because remember, they had $200 million they had found, or rather was supposed to have, through investments, public and private, that was supposed to make turnkey locations for, you know, new business owners in the cannabis industry being able to open up retail dispensaries, and that has kind of somehow disappeared into thin air.
Oh, Lord.
You haven't we haven't reached the full 200 million. You have, if I'm correct, only one location so far on the Lower East Side that is one of those licenses where this, and one of those locations where the state has provided the location. At one point a few months ago, the board actually said that they were considering allowing people who already have their own locations to just try to license those locations versus the state providing a location, because they didn't think it was going to be this difficult. Well, mind you, every other state that has legal cannabis has shown this model, that it's going to become very difficult, because landlords, property managers, property owners, developers understand how lucrative the industry is. So the value of what you can put on a location based off of, it's a high cash industry business. You're dealing with something that the federal government still considers to be illegal. All of these different things that property managers and property owners can say, well, because of that risk you're putting me at, I can charge you more.
Right. Therefore, the cost of the whole situation goes up. Like the cost of rent goes up. Insurance, you know
insurance,
what I mean? Because you're true in New York City, you better have some insurance on your business. You better have some insurance on your business.
Has this experience influenced you to get more involved into politics or rub elbows with some politicians?
So I thought about it, but I realized in particular in New York, that's the way that they have the cannabis laws set up is that it's really not going to make a difference. I feel like New York is going to end up going in the direction of Colorado/Washington, because they're going to realize even with the social equity program, in order to really make this work, you're just going to have to open it up. It doesn't have to be like a free-for-all like they did in Oklahoma and give licenses to everybody, but it's going to have to be restructured to where you have an even amount of general licensed people who are just, business owners who want to get into the industry, want to bring their quality products to the market. And they're also going to have to open up interstate business to allow you to acquire cannabis and cannabis items and products from other states.
Because that right there is definitely a factor, I would say, because it's true. New York City's weather does not allow, let's keep it real. New York City's weather does not allow for growing. That's one thing. And then I think it was mentioned in the last time we spoke to you was, even as far as trying to grow something here, during the spring and summer. Our dirt, our ground, they ain't ready for growing, the Zaza. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna grow Reggie. It's gonna grow a whole bunch of Reggie before we get to the Zaza. I'm just saying.
Not only that, but you got to think of like just the weather pattern that we've been going through recently.
That too, because the weather been bipolar out here like a motherfucker. Yeah. Today was 55 degrees, and just 2 days ago it was like 2. Like
indoor growing. Yeah, you have to invest in the indoor growing clearly to control.
Yeah, and you're right. Indoor growing definitely could be lucrative, but then you have to take into consideration the additional costs. Again, insurance, because it's a commercial property. And outside of that, also being able to say like the amount of money and investment that has to go into climate control.
Word.
And and as you're out there on the other side, the other side of the country, you've got beautiful, lush, clean, fresh air, rich soil. So outdoor, indoor, you can work both ways. In New York,
exactly. The West Coast got it. The West Coast got it, and that's really, what I'm saying, anybody that's on the East Coast, and 9 times out of 10, if you selling quality weed, you getting it from the West. You getting it from the West.
Yeah.
I love Cali weed. We're very fortunate out here in the Pacific Northwest. I won't, rub it in too much. But wow. So Lamont, I know that cannabis is not your only baby. So what would you say? And I know that you have your hands in a lot of pots. What are your top 3 businesses that you're working with right now, and why?
So for me, one is definitely real estate. You can never go wrong with having a nice, decent real estate asset portfolio. That's longevity. That's, again, as we were talking in our previous conversation, being able to say, like, I can put my coat of arms on this, and people know when they pull up to this driveway and they got to take that long tree-lined drive down to that main house with that cul-de-sac. There's a reason why you're there. Like, so, and just understanding, like, real estate being number one, it's, if you know what you're doing, and I always have to say that because a lot of people like getting into restaurants, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to fail. With real estate, it's the same thing. And understanding, like, being able to acquire property and utilize that as an asset or a stream of revenue, you can never go wrong with that. You can never go wrong with that. That's like, it's like when people say, "Oh, I'll open up a funeral home," because you're never going to be without customers. Like, it's
real talk.
It's one of those. It's one of those things. And even with recently with them, just to jump off cannabis and into real estate real quick, with inflation and how the market has just skyrocketed when it came to buying houses and buying homes. I personally decided looking overseas is better. And you have a lot of different locations in the Caribbean that give you the opportunity to invest in real estate and invest in property, particularly because you're coming with foreign money. You're coming with money from the United States, and that's a part of their tourist industry. A lot of countries, tourism is their cash cow. You know, keeping those beaches clean, having those beautiful restaurants and cuisine, native people, like that is what brings other people to their country, and that's money, that's dollars, that's dollars. So when you
Okay.
take something like my interest in Airbnb, which I'm sure Ruby, I know you saw, um,
Oh, yeah.
my interest in doing Airbnbs, that's always been, I would say maybe since 2016, something that I've always considered and looked into, being able to do it in Miami, looking into California, and now the Dominican Republic. Because the Dominican Republic, particularly in the capital, Santo Domingo, there are a number of new buildings and development going in. And these are all foreign developers, a lot of them coming from Russia, a lot of them coming from Europe. And they are they are just building these condos to the sky. You know, so it's a huge cash infusion. So being able to go there and say, this is a good real estate investment because there's a lot of interest in foreign investing from the country and the government, because again, it's fueling the tourism industry. But the properties there that they're building now, the development that they're giving and providing is, for me, it reminds me a lot of Southern Florida. Like, a lot of people will hear Dominican Republic and they'll think, oh, the tourist areas, the resort areas, and the pretty beaches. I'm a person, I've always, no matter where I go, I always want to be with the people. I want to be there. I want to see what it's actually like. I don't want to see what you want me to see. Like, no smoke and mirrors. You know, don't give me the Club Med experience. If you're old enough to remember Club Med, and you everybody
which is exactly what I was going to mention, because I was just like, you know, because in order to do that kind of, if you know, that kind of thing, I imagine that you gotta have, you know, a team, you know,
Yeah.
on that side, and
Yeah.
you gotta be able to trust them, and they gotta be real, you know, real motherfuckers that really will, you know,
Yeah.
try to shice you out of something. You know what I mean? Because
100%,
I
yeah.
mean, because you know, I've had family members, you know, just, and this is not, you know, family members trying to buy, you know, like property to, like, you know, have people live in it, but just, you know, retirement property. And they, you know,
Right.
they were trying to attempt to have a retirement property, and then, you know, because, you know, you wasn't, you know, talking to the right people, and then all of a sudden you got shysted out of money, and then, you know, you have no property, you don't have no money, and it's like, you know what I mean? So how did you go about that? Did you have a team out there, or did you just develop a team and took it out there?
Yeah, so I have a team that I'm building here, as well as a team down there that I'm developing right now, and they both will be working together in order to be able to manage the property. So the good thing, an interesting thing is, as we know, in a lot of places in the United States, if you lease an apartment, a condo, whatever, you can't sublease.
Right.
And a lot of other countries, there's no clauses to that.
Yeah,
So
well, a
you
lot of
can
things
go,
that Americans do ain't being done nowhere else in the world. Let's keep it real.
Exactly. So if you're a person who, you know, is thinking about starting up, and you're saying, you know, if you have the resources, and when I say resources, I'm speaking more about people, not so much like having a huge wad of cash, because you don't really need a huge wad of cash. You don't need to go down there with $100,000, or any country that's a tourist built country with a whole wad of cash and be like, I'm going to buy this villa by the beach and then put that on Airbnb for $9,000 a month. You know how difficult it's going to be to get, like, to keep that place booked. Even if you've got a team of straight BBL girls who just finished their surgeries,
9,000 a month,
have a place to go.
Wait a minute.
The ideal customers.
Yeah, you know, it's difficult to do. So for me, my business model is really thinking and focusing on people who are traveling for business, like being able to offer discounts and specials and promo codes for flight attendants, because flight attendants they travel, they need a place to go. The Dominican Republic, with more airlines sending more flights there, you know, you have an
travel
untapped
nurses
market
as well, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Any working professionals that have to be. Yeah, that's perfect. That's beautiful and smart. So what are the other two?
So other than real estate, obviously it's going to be cannabis. Like I love cannabis. And the third one is going to be more like nonprofit and consulting.
Bam. I
Yeah,
love
I
that.
the other side of me is very much into case management, social work, you know, services for the needy, the underprivileged, and so forth and so on. I've worked in social services in the past, so understanding how to really, you know, be a listener, be a person to hear people,
Word.
like that's always been a passion of mine. So anybody that knows me knows like I'm generally everybody's therapist. So
Oh shit, really? Damn.
oh
But that
yes,
means that,
100%.
that everybody coming to tell you their problems. Hold on.
I
You're
can tell
very
you right now,
approachable.
the book I take with me to the grave is probably going to weigh as much as I do. So,
Oh Lord. Oh man.
but I don't say that in a bad way because I realize again, with being able to do that and then eventually wanting to open up my own nonprofit, which is going to be for these types of services,
Mm,
you understand like the main thing that most people want is to be heard.
word. That
And when you
is
have a
true.
genuine ear listening, you have a genuine person who's understanding what you're saying, not judging you, giving you that kind of that blind ear,
Mm,
it can change a person's life. It can change the whole trajectory and their mindset. Just being able to know, like, okay, there's somebody that's listening to me, somebody that's not judging me, somebody that's making an attempt to understand me, and even that sometimes advise me. That changes a lot for a lot of people.
true
So
and
those are the
sad.
three. Yeah,
That's facts
those are my
on
three
facts like
passions.
that. Word.
Absolutely.
But hold up though, I ain't hear you mention the clothing line. Taveo, what happened to that?
So oh nothing. That's still we still have that beautiful,
Y'all
wonderful
rocking
line.
it.
We have
Shit.
that beautiful line with a wonderful, beautiful new model from the Dominican Republic that I know Ruby has seen because she looks at my stories.
I
So
sure do.
Shit.
I'm like, we
Let
need
me
to put a
find
pause
out
in
that
or
that's
a
the lead
bookmark
to
on
the
that.
bedroom. Okay, that's the lead to the bedroom. Then that's the lead because
you're following,
is
you're
that the
following.
boyfriend? Is that the
Yes,
boyfriend? Is that the
indeed.
boyfriend?
That is definitely the other half.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness! All
He
right.
more than a boyfriend. He more than the model, girl.
Yes.
That's daddy right there. Or wait, or are you dad? I don't know. I'm just
A little bit of everything. A little bit of
well,
everything. But
that's
yeah.
beautiful. That's fucking amazing. And congratulations to the both of you.
Thank you so
Because
much.
Indeed.
Thank you.
if
Thank you.
anything, I think you're the catch, Lamont. You know what
So
I'm
people
saying? I
tell
don't
me,
know.
but you
I haven't
know
talked to,
what?
to the
I
boyfriend yet. Come on now.
I
Let me
really,
see that.
you know what's crazy? Like the first thing I tell people is like one, it's organic,
Boom.
and that's for me like that's a big thing. Anybody who knows
That's
who
the
knows like
biggest
for me
thing.
that's a big thing. Online dating and you know the crash course in hurry up, let's send nudes, conversations, and the
Oh yeah,
snaps and the
so
TikToks and all that.
boring.
That's just not me. I'm 38. That's just not me.
I feel
So
you.
I need to know you understand R&B songs. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Live life
Like
a little bit, you know what I'm
Like
yeah,
I
you
saying?
need to
know
know that you grown. Like I don't need baby wipe type of level of
exactly.
grown. I need full toilet paper roll grown. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's how I am. And that's really how that happened, like completely how that unfolded. It just started as, you know, being a model and organically it just grew into an amazing, amazing, you know, time in my life. So
Oh, I love
That's
that.
yeah.
beautiful.
You
That's
got me
And
beautiful.
blushing.
oh my gosh, you got me
Exactly. I was
blushing over
like,
here too, all
wait
of
a
us.
Yeah,
I'm
you got me
so
blushing. But yeah.
look.
that's beautiful. You deserve like that feeling of security and love. I love that. At some
Yeah.
point, I'll feel that again, but you know, I'm enjoying this single, soltera lifestyle. You know what I
Yeah, but
mean?
you got a baby.
I was
You
just
Oh
about to
yeah,
pregnant.
so
tell
I'm
her that.
Yeah.
definitely
I
not
was just
alone.
about to tell her that, like right now, that baby is the boss.
That's
So
my
Yeah.
therefore,
boss.
that's the only lover
Really,
you need right now.
that's
You
right.
have,
Your
yeah, you
shit.
need not want anything to worry about because that baby is going to take up so much of your time
Mm,
that you won't have to worry about anything else.
Oh, that's another question I wanted to ask you,
Uh-huh.
sir. Is how's the parenting process coming along? I know that you were
Oh,
thinking
so
of that?
so yeah, so we definitely and yes, I said we definitely are on plan for a whole surrogacy for four.
Ah,
Nice.
And
because he
What?
doesn't want any. I remember because you don't want any odd numbers, is what you said.
there you go.
Yeah.
No middle children.
No
No
middle
middle kids.
children. And you were a
Oh.
Yeah.
middle child. I think you disclosed that as well.
Yes, yes, yes.
No,
That is the
well, I
reason
feel
why.
Beautiful.
you, but Lord, do yourself a favor and spread them out in ages, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I got 3 of them, and the fact that I could get one to take care of the other is just real cool. You know what I'm saying? Like that ass. I like, yo, you watch her, and everybody watch each other. Leave me the fuck alone. Let me fall
Oh
asleep
yeah.
and minding my business. I'm just saying, it works out. It works
Oh no,
out.
I believe you. I believe you. I'm thinking of anywhere between like 3 to 4 year difference, just
Yeah.
because it gives you time, but it
Close
also
enough.
keeps them in school almost at the same time. You know
Right.
what I mean? So there's that
Mm-hmm.
transition as everybody's going. So
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely, you know what
wow.
I'm saying? And trust me, that free babysitting, ooh, baby, baby, that's priceless right there. You don't understand. Or you got watch your sister. Hello.
They'll always be an
Yeah,
oldest.
that shit is
I love
wonderful.
that so
Yes.
much. Have you guys found a donor?
So no, not yet. We haven't,
Okay.
not yet. We're still in process. It's a lengthy process. We're
I
working through it for
imagine
this
so.
year. Just now being able to connect to a commercial surrogacy place in New York. So, and that's
Oh
always the
my
first step.
gosh.
So
That is
yeah,
super duper exciting. And
yeah.
I would say that I can't wait until you have those sleepless nights
Oh,
because
I'm looking
I'm
forward to it.
so
I have so many cousins with children that I help them take care of. I am fully prepared. And I've taken care of some adult kids too. So I'm fully prepared.
that's beautiful.
Now, let me
Um,
ask you one question, but a little follow-up question about getting a surrogate. Now,
Uh-huh.
are you planning to, is this going to be like a person that you just kind of hire to, hold the baby, and then once they give you the baby, you can go about your business? Or is this a person that you're going to allow to, be involved in the child's life?
So me personally, and I know there are some people who are different on this, me personally,
Mm-hmm.
um, I prefer to have a surrogate that is simply just a surrogate. Like
Word.
another.
I don't want the surrogate to be the egg donor, and I
Mm,
don't want the egg donor to be the surrogate, if you understand what I'm saying.
I
I
feel
do.
you.
Because
Yeah.
understanding the process and understanding how, over time, people are giving up rights,
Mm-hmm.
and that comes with emotions
Yes, it
and things.
does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
So that for me, I look at it and I'm like, it's just safer for everyone,
Mm.
to do it that way. And then as the child gets older and they get to a certain age and they want to have that conversation, then we can have that conversation. And then I turn it over to them, which is,
Right.
if you want to seek out who this person may be, whether it be the surrogate or the egg donor, 100% I support you in that, but from the beginning, I'm very much like very cut and dry. Like egg donor will be different, and what we're looking for is for only one egg donor that's just going to donate multiple eggs. I mean, that's just
Oh,
keeping the relation, that's the blood relation,
nice,
together.
That's
nice,
dope.
Yeah,
nice. And
no,
not,
and
And
we
and
well
the
thought
reason
out.
why I ask is because I figured like this, you know what I mean? In a situation like that, my opinion, it is that it just makes sense for it to be, a person that just, you know, gives birth to the child and then they go about their business. Because if
right,
you have any level of attachment, it could develop into a situation where, at one point in time you want to fight me for the child, and it's like, nah,
yeah,
fam, this is
yeah.
mine. I paid you, remember you
Right.
cashed my check, motherfucker. I'm just saying.
And I love that
But
we
you're
are
right.
talking
Yeah,
about this.
100%. Listen, you guys can have me on to talk about anything. It's never an issue for me.
It's funny, right? The whole idea of adoption and whatnot, right? So
Mm-hmm.
with this last baby, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep her. I had made up my mind. Obviously, we went through it, and I'm glad that I did. However, at least 3 people have asked me to adopt my child. And these are all people within, these are all people within my family. And well, this was very interesting because I had to think about it long and hard, because it was like, well, if you were thinking about not having her potentially, then you should consider the idea of adopting her with, you know what I'm saying? Just to consider it, you know, because how do you know that you're not going to do something if you haven't thought about it? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, all right, so putting myself in all these, and it's very common in my Samoan culture to adopt or, like without any papers or nothing. So, hey, here's my kid, go ahead and raise it, especially if let's say I have a sibling who wanted to conceive children but couldn't. So it would be almost expected of me to give one of mine if I have multiple kids type shit. I don't know how else to say it, but that's just what it is. Yeah. So it's like that whole process is actually really beautiful, because then eventually, you know, the kid, everyone gets raised together anyway. So because you have 2 moms, you have 2 dads, it's very village like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I also had to consider, like, one person very close to me had asked me, and she not only asked me once, she asked me a couple of times, like straight up just heartfelt. And I felt almost guilty saying no. And I was like, well, why is that? Why would I feel guilty? Like, I had to double back on those thoughts. Like, well, what is it? And I think it was that guilt of, let's say, the family expectation or the duty of, you know, what I know our roots to be. And for me, it's like, it's almost selfish, because here I am, I already have 2 kids and I'm a single mom, and the list goes on and on, but that noise doesn't matter, you see.
Right.
So I'm just going through all this shit in my head. And I just wanted to share that, because it is an emotional attachment. And those, you know, and so whatever process anybody builds their family, that's their family. You know what I mean?
Word.
And so I'm very grateful that you shared your story. People like you should have children. Come on now. I could already
100%.
see. Yes.
I'm looking forward to 8 little feet running through the house and creating chaos.
Lord, you
getting
say
love,
that now,
John, and
no,
cherished.
you say that now, and then you get a call from the teacher saying that, you know, the child was at school and they tried to break the tablet, the tablet that the school gave them, and they tried, you know, and they told the teacher that they don't care if the tablet break. I'm just saying, that kind of conversation make you want to say, you know what?
That is,
what do y'all motherfuckers gotta go?
That is oddly specific.
That's
So yes, that's a real example of my life. No, that is a very real example of my life, because I literally had to look at the child and say, you and I can't afford that tablet. Excuse you. No, you and I broke when it comes to that tablet. So please don't try break nothing that you can't buy and I can't buy with you.
Oh my Lord, that's so funny.
Don't do that.
Yeah, I think I'll handle it pretty well. I think I'll be all right. I'm looking forward.
Well, I hope so.
At the end of the day, it won't just be me. So
well, somebody got to be the disciplinary now. Because come on now, because you know these children get loose. They get loose when they ain't got a little bit of discipline in them.
I think I got that covered.
Oh yeah. You know, it's funny because my son, he's 3, and he told me the other day that he hated me. And so it's like,
you're
man,
at that
I
phase.
just want to beat your ass, but I'm not going to, because I'm just like, oh my, there's this conflict within me. Like, I can't let him get away with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I felt like but then at the same time, it's like, I know he doesn't mean it. He's regurgitating something that he heard who knows who, because it definitely wasn't for me. And so it's just like, because kids are sponges. And so I had to check myself and be like, okay, well, your ego is causing you to want to slap him, but he really is just being a kid and blurting some shit out. So it's funny. Parenting is very interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you right now. I remember days when because they all got to step out of character. That's how, you know what I'm saying. That's how they figure out, you know, who in the family really crazy. You know what I'm saying. They step out of character, and then the crazy come out and touch them, and then they go, yeah, let me not play with mommy no more, cause. Nah,
crazy?
I'm gonna play outside, and when I'm outside and I'm with my friends and she can't see me, yeah, I'm gonna do what I want. But as soon as she hear about it, I'm gonna be like, oh, mommy, I know that I didn't do that. No, mommy, no, I didn't do that. Because you know, crazy about to come touch you. You know, crazy about to fly on your ass. But let's talk about something more fun now. So V-Day is coming up. I know this episode is going to drop after V-Day because we're actually dropping season 5, our first episode on the 18th. But so this episode is going to be way after V-Day. But fuck it, let's talk about what we doing for V-Day. Shit, you know what I'm saying? I mean, is the inflation in these streets making you size down the celebration? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, in this household, I'm looking at husband like, baby, I know you love me. You ain't gotta do nothing. Like, fuck that shit. Man, fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that shit. We ain't gotta do shit. Fuck all that shit. But of course, he like, nah. But of course, he Mr. Bougie, so he gonna be like, nah, baby, we gonna do something because that's how we gonna do. We gonna do something. Chill out. You know what I mean? But so, what you do?
I honestly, I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day.
Bam.
And that's only because like I'm the type, like I can go all out for a birthday, an anniversary, Christmas. I can go all out for those days. I have no problem going all out for those days. But to me, Valentine's Day is like, I shouldn't have to have one day of the year that says, this is how much I love you.
Right, exactly.
Like, it's going to be an all year thing. And the highlights are not going to be Valentine's Day because Target and Walmart said so.
Not Target and Walmart. Not Target.
I love it. And I'm sure I don't know, but I can sense that you're a show your love day-to-day basis type of person.
Oh yes.
Which 100%. Is way more important than just showing it on the one day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I am very much the type of person, you know who I'm with because it shows. You know, and like I said, I can speak to it because I know Ruby has seen it, because that was one of the first questions she asked me when she saw it. She was like, is that? I'm just curious.
She let me tell you something. She is the first. Anybody that has watched our show or is a continuous subscriber of our show knows that Ruby's talent is getting all up in your bedroom business. I'm gonna ask you the business questions, but she gonna get all up in your pum business and what? She getting all
the cavities.
And if you got a problem with that, then you just not either, don't answer those questions or just decline our, request.
Oh yeah, you can totally
decline our request.
Plead the fifth for sure, and life will move on. But did you meet your partner in the DR?
Yes.
What? Like how? Like how was that?
So I was there for 2 different things. I was there to look at property.
Okay.
As well as do a photo shoot. So with new stuff that I have coming out with DeVeo, I was like, I want to really get, like, I want that Dominican feel for it, not only with a model, but just, the location. Because it's like, living here. If you live in New York your whole life, if you see a certain image on TV and an advertisement or something, it doesn't have to say a street or anything. You look at it and you're like, oh, that's Brooklyn.
Yeah. Real talk.
That's Harlem.
Talk. Real
like that's
talk.
downtown. That's the Lower East Side, and you can instantly see it, and you know exactly what it is. So I said, aside from down there looking at property, I said I can do a photo shoot down here and just see, how this is going to work with the clothes. And obviously, it worked out great. The whole campaign and everything, total process worked out really great. But I had met him because he's friends with someone else that I know who does modeling and is a dancer. So they said, oh, reach out to him, see, he'll be down there. He's in great shape. He's used to being in front of the camera. He'll be fine. I said, okay, reach out to him. The first day we did the shoot, it was great. Like the shoot was great. The photos are on the page if you don't know.
Definitely.
Hell yeah, we've seen them.
Oh, definitely. I've seen them. And shoot, and you're right. I've never been to Dominican Republic, but I can imagine it's got to be a beautiful island. The weather is perfect. You know what I mean? Beaches, you know what I mean? You got actual clear beach water rather than whatever sewage we got swimming around, the United States around here. You know what I'm saying? So, it definitely was a perfect scene. And you're right, because even when I lived in Seattle, there was so many times that I would see movies and things and be like, oh yeah, hold up. That's around the corner from this hood. That's around the corner from, and you be able to, you know what I mean? Because you know your area. You know where you live.
Exactly. So pursuing that idea and being like, if we do it in the Dominican Republic, it'll be great. And it turned out great. Like we still have more, like there's still more photos to come. There's a whole nother shoot that we're going to be doing with new stuff coming up. And like I said, he took to it very, very well. Like he was very comfortable. I've had people model for me before, and some people have just been difficult. And I don't mean in a bad way. It's just they're so used to using a selfie camera that they don't know how to feel when someone's taking a photo of them.
Right.
Yeah. So because they're so used to taking a selfie. But he was very comfortable. It was great. After we did the shoot, he saw some of the photos. It was just great. And then there was just this element of chemistry there. But me myself, I'm not the type of person to like chase something, so to speak. So I didn't think it. I didn't think of it at all. It slipped my mind. Later on that day, I got a text message. She was like, "Hey, if you're not doing anything, we can hang out, we can smoke, have some drinks." I had a place that had a hot tub, so it was like, okay, sure, no problem. We'll talk and just get to know each other better, and that's literally what happened. Like we got to know each other better, and from that moment it was just like the chemistry has just been constant. And usually like that was last May, so we're approaching a year already.
But yes you are.
Yeah, we're approaching a year already.
Yes, you are.
Just understanding, like having that element and that chemistry. Like I always tell people, like the main thing for me is that it was organic. Like it happened between two people where it was just you like their energy. You got to get, you got to know them. You got to talk about them, laugh and everything. And that energy just gelled. It wasn't the sort of thing where it's like, oh, well, I swiped and you swiped, so I guess this means we have to.
Shit, right. Ooh, that sounds disgusting. I ain't gonna lie. That sounds kind of disgusting. But wait a minute, though. You mentioned something interesting just now. Wait, we smoking in Dominican Republic. How easy it is to get? How easy is it to get weed in Dominican Republic? Let's talk about it.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You need to know someone. Okay. You need to know someone. And granted, I can be that someone, but you need to know someone. It's just because like the drug laws there are very, very strict. So possession and things, and then also a lot of people, I've never experienced it, so I can't really say this is exact, but you have a lot of people who will say like there's an element of corruption, so if you have enough money on you, you can just kind of pay your way out of it type of situation, or the justice system is going to be a little crueler to you because you're a native versus being a foreigner. So you hear a lot of different stories and a lot of different accounts from people about it. But for me, again, I was lucky, knew somebody down there, and I can say I've had bad weed down there, and I've had really good weed down there.
Nice.
So it's really like everywhere else, where it's like if you have a good connect, you'll get good weed.
You can get
Definitely.
anything with the plugs, you know.
Yes,
Shit, the
exactly.
plug
Exactly.
has continued to plug all over the fucking world. Stop playing
That's
with me.
right. That's a universal job.
That's a universal thing. That shit'll never
Yep.
go away. Well,
Just like a
shit.
dry cleaners.
So
Okay.
Lamont, why the
Yeah.
DR though?
So for me, a big part is the Dominican Republic, one, embraces foreign investment.
Okay.
There is no uh, additional tax for you having businesses there.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's a very big perk. So, for instance, like if I have a business like this business that I'm referring to now, which is going to be a travel and tourism business, which for the record, I have to say, I was amazed. Me and my business partners were amazed at finding out that it is a gay couple that have the most number of listings in Dominican Republic.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they have 124 listings, everything from villas to studios. And I myself was amazed. And like what I'm doing, they are foreign investors.
Right.
So that was even more of an interest for me because I realized like I can, you can go down there and you can buy property. In most cases, because we live in America, we're used to saying, okay, well, you have to buy something because most places you can't sublease or your homeowners association won't let you do it. As big as Airbnb was in America, it's reduced itself. And that's only because
Absolutely.
and that wasn't by design. That happened
Right.
because a lot of different places and a lot of different cities and towns and states said you're kind of crushing the hotel industry here.
Right.
So, we got to do something. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Right.
so
And I
there
learned the
you
hard
can,
way that you
yeah,
have to, like, you can't just go and get an apartment and sublet it, right? Because it says so in the most contracts. And
yep,
what I was doing, excuse me, was just trial and error, just doing it and kind of getting away with it, especially because I'm in property management. So I
mhm,
was able to like watch it, you know what I mean? But
right.
it's just like riding dirty. So how long can I depend on that as a sustainable business? So
Right.
Lamont, how much would somebody need to bring to the table if they wanted to get a single 1 bedroom studio in the DR fully furnished?
I would say come with about, well, okay. So if it's for you, you can go down there and I would say just like anywhere else, if you've got 2 months rent plus 1 month security, uh, you're good to go. All you need is your passport. There are some other restrictions, like if you're gonna live there, like if you're gonna live there, then after 2 months you have to do temporary residency and so forth. Go through the usual government channel so you can remain in the country. But if you're going down there for business and you're going down there as a business to invest in real estate and you're not buying homes, you're renting or doing an Airbnb arbitrage, you can go down there as a business, rent locations,
Wow.
and
I love
sublease
that.
them.
Oh my
And you can
gosh.
and you
Okay.
can
That's
yeah, and
that's
you can
what's
sublease
up.
them on Airbnb. And we're talking again, as I said, a lot of these buildings, a lot of people here in Dominican Republic, and they're thinking like, oh, it might be a little sketchy. There are neighborhoods down there that rival like Williamsburg and downtown Brooklyn. I mean, when I say they are developing, they are developing. There's a lot of foreign investment from Europe, from Russia, that's really building up these beautiful buildings. Beautiful buildings. I mean, like almost like pretty much I'll say Miami quality condos.
Wow.
I
And
can
and
tell
But
by
then
your
they're
and
pictures.
then like you
yeah,
said, because they don't have the rules of they don't really care about whether it's Airbnb. They know that you
right.
coming down there to rent it for Airbnb, so you rent it and then
Stimulating their
charge
economy.
somebody a price
Hmm.
and basically you make your money back plus whatever profit depending on
There
how
you
you
go.
charge it.
That's right. That's right. And then you've got to also take into account because it's still, you're still in the Dominican Republic, you are going off of Dominican Republic cost of living rates.
Right.
So
I love that.
what usually in New York or Miami or even Seattle would run you 2,000, 3,000, five
Yes.
thousand dollars, you're paying 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 1,800.
Right.
And these places are amazing with all these additional amenities like gyms and rooftop lounge areas, children's centers, business centers, parking spaces, private jacuzzis, and extended balconies, like all of these things.
Right.
And you can rent that for 1,800 a month and then put that on Airbnb for 250 a night. And because you've got
Yeah.
outside people coming to stay there, they're paying cost of living prices that you pay in America, or what you pay in
Makes
France,
sense.
or what you'd pay in Spain. And that 250 a night automatically translates into almost $5,000 in a month.
Exactly. Do the math, yo. Airbnb is real, and you're doing it the right way. I'd also like to drop some gems too.
Mhm.
I found out that where I'm from, American Samoa, anybody from the US can get an LLC out there. You just pay the fee, apply online,
There you
and
go.
you can open up with that LLC a bank account, you know what I'm saying? And you don't have to, I'm just gonna, the list goes on and on. And there's like so many developments over there, and there's only a few hotels, you know what I mean? And so one of my dreams is just to go back home and do exactly what you're doing in the DR,
Mhm.
but catering to people, especially those that like work for the government. I love taking money from the government. So
Okay.
then you're coming out here on some business extended stay, but you're going to, decorate it the way that you would a luxury hotel out here.
That's
You know what
right.
I'm saying? So it's just like these gems, whoever's listening to this podcast, I'm so happy that Lamont's dropping these gems because it's our
Always.
right to be wealthy, to have resources, and it's our right to, feel the abundance. And never before have I felt so much abundance than doing the Airbnb gig. One, it was good for me.
Right.
And the fact of not having to own the shit, there's lots of perks to that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so rental arbitrage is what he mentioned earlier, is what that
Yeah.
whole thing is. How fascinating.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude, I
This
had I was gonna ask, have you thought about doing workshops or e-classes on this information, because you give out information so freely?
I have. I've actually considered like pulling together. I thought about, doing my own version of what you guys are doing, just, focusing on specific, like teaching people and allowing people to understand how investment works.
Hell yeah.
definitely.
Just because like a lot of us, like again, I'm 38, so being raised in a generation where you were technically taught to fear the stock market, you were taught to fear investing and obtaining assets and building assets. It was more so the focus was you need to get a job with good benefits that's going to allow you to retire.
Yes.
That's really what it was.
That
It was
really,
never
really it has
understanding.
yes,
Yeah.
like that's the main focus.
And being my age now and seeing how common that is, because you don't have a lot of people who are, homeowners or property owners and things, but yet our grandparents were.
Right.
So you see that disconnect where it was like, okay, you were taught to believe that, oh, this is always going to be in the family, or this is something that eventually you'll get, or some part of you and your cousins will have to split up over somebody's death or something like that. You realize like a lot of that stuff is all lost now. Everybody's a renter. Everybody's living more structured and concise and cozy lives now, just because we've lost that mindset of obtaining assets, of particularly real estate assets. Being able to say, like for me, being able to say, I intend on being able to have enough to have an estate that has a main house with me, my husband, our dogs, and then we have 4 or 5 additional houses on the property for each one of the kids, plus a guest, and just really like some Buckingham Palace type shit,
Okay,
Windsor Castle
yeah.
type shit,
Why
like
not?
like really have it to where people understand, like when you pull up on this estate, you understand where you're at. You're not just somewhere where you're at some wealthy person's home. You're gonna pull up and understand all of this took work. All of this is built to give plenty of generations to come an opportunity.
That's the point
Exactly.
of it all, I believe. That's why
Yeah.
we do want to rear children. And I think, regardless of where we come from, everyone has that sense of wanting to provide in abundance and not have, this fear. Because mind you, I've been in a position where I was like, dang, where are we going to get the next couple of meals, or when is the next, bill going to get paid? And that's not that level of trauma. If you can avoid it, man, That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do better.
Absolutely. The level of trauma, the level of anxiety.
Stress and anxiety.
Just,
Mhm.
just true. A paycheck to paycheck of life is hard as fuck. So yes, you know, being able to pass on those jewels to other people, you know what I mean, is definitely, it would definitely be important, and definitely would be, you know, you paying forward to you know, your community and your society. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shit, Ruby, this has
100%.
been a great fucking
Oh,
interview.
yes. Thank you, Lamont.
Absolutely.
Gracias por
Yeah,
todo.
we thank
How's your
you every
De
Spanish
single
nada,
going?
tú
time.
sabes.
Qué
Oh,
bueno.
you know he learning some Spanish. Oh, he learning some Papi
I'm
Chulo
sure. And I'm
Spanish.
sure
Yes,
Papi
he is.
Chulo's helping with that as well.
Oh, yes, he is.
Oh, goodness.
We
And
love
on
you,
that
Lamont.
motherfucking note, we gonna end the podcast right here. Motherhood Sex Marijuana in the motherfucking building. Thank you, Lamont.
Peace out. Thank you for your time.
All right.
Wonderful, wonderful. You ladies stay up.
You too.
Thank you. We'll do. You too.
Okay.